People, it's your boy, Cypher Providence, back at it again. As I said, we're doing this daily. I'm committed to this, so we're doing this daily. We have another horror movie called Jacob's Ladder. This one was recommended to me by my best friend Kyle, so shout out Kyle. Um, my overall thoughts on this movie was I thought it was like good. Maybe I had higher expectations because it was recommended by a friend, so I was like putting it on a tier maybe a bit too high. But I thought it was good. Anyway, this movie was released in 1990. It has a 2019 remake that I'm not too interested in seeing, but you never know. I might do it for next year if we do this as an annual thing. Um, the intro to this, to the main character and the situation is really good. This movie, despite its kind of biblical title and everything, is not only would it be like a biblical referencing movie, but it's also harpens and talks about war veterans and their experiences. And this movie is placed right after Vietnam, and how some soldiers who were at Vietnam experienced a traumatic experience, and we're following the main character of that traumatic experience and how he's dealing with it, basically. With some paranormal activities going on throughout the movie to kind of keep us hooked and interested, and also a little bit of mystery as to what exactly is going on. As the main character, a couple of his fellow war veteran friends, and some people around him try and figure that out. Um, the main character, Jacob Singer, is honestly, I would say probably the best performance of this film. If not, then there is one character that I'll talk about in a minute who I think is equally as good, if not potentially better. We follow Jacob throughout the whole movie. He's the one who we see experience most of this, and I don't know. His acting was just very good. I was hooked by his acting, and I very much was like I believed him in this situation and everything. I believed how he acted, especially with like how he was. You could attribute a lot of this to some of the PTSD he might have had post the war that he was in, and the incident that we see right after the start, which also adds to his character. I feel like the intro scene that I was talking about earlier very much adds to you believing that whatever is going on could just be PTSD related. But as we see throughout the film, it's something a little bit more than just that. Another standout character was Lewis, who was his chiropractor. He is seen as like kind of like a not entirely in like design or anything, but more so just like how Jacob kind of sees him, and also how kind of the audience can see him in similar light as like this angelic like figure who's always helpful and giving advice to Jacob, and how he's always had his back. There's this one scene in particular that I really like that shows how like helpful and caring he is of Jacob, which is really cool. And he also drops one of like the best lines in the film about how when you when you're clinging to life or whatever, uh, you can see these devils or whatever trying to rip that life away. But like once you've kind of made your not promises, but once you've kind of made peace with your life and your current standings, those angels could then now be seen as angels, which I thought was a really good line. And probably was the best line of the movie, in my opinion. And then we have Michael Newman, who is this seemingly at first a very throw off character. We see him in the middle ish portion of this film only twice. One time lurking in the background of a shot, but they kind of, not necessarily the background of a shot, but like they focus on him, but he's kind of lurking in the back. And then he saves our main character uh, from a incident in the film, and he runs away afterwards, seemingly randomly. And you, so at that point, you think he's like just like a throwaway character because he just runs away and there's no like direct follow up until later. And so you kind of you don't entirely forget about him, but you kind of forget about him. And then uh, later on, towards the end of the film, he comes back and he helps our main character figure out exactly what's going on. And I just think Michael Newman, had another standout performance, if not one of my favorite performances, making him one of my like more preferred characters of this film. As he's helping the main character figure out exactly what's going on, and in his little mini dialogue, he probably gives the second, not necessarily second best line, but I would say the kind of the best speech or like moment of dialogue throughout the whole film that isn't just a quote or anything. And then those are pretty much the standout characters. I feel like this is another negative towards the film. Not necessarily entirely its fault, because I feel like I kind of overshot it. But I just thought, because I was comparing it not necessarily like in tone and everything to the thing, but I was just kind of comparing kind of like general notes and everything of it to the thing. So I was hoping for a strong cast of characters. Not to say that this film doesn't have strong actors or anything. It's just that like comparatively, I have, but I have kind of an equal amount of standout characters, but I have a I enjoyed all, if not most, of the cast in the thing entirely. Where in this one, while I enjoyed like a few other characters in this film, I didn't enjoy every prominent character that they had introduced, which kind of like made the film be brought down to me, or brought down for me. But the story for this film is a very psychological one. It plays with biblical ideation, as well as post-war PTSD, and with that, it kind of mixes the illusion of this film, in a sense, by like it makes you think that the post-war PTSD is kind of going to be the main problem, the main issue that we're going to be dealing with if you're reading into it like in a subtextual kind of way. But then once we start introducing more of the story and everything, and especially once Michael Newman uh, comes in, you really, really start realizing what this movie is about. I personally had to have some of it explained. I was understanding of it, but I thought it was mainly kind of just focusing on the post-war PTSD angle, as opposed to just the biblical referencing and all that. And the ending, I would say, is really good. The ending of this film is really good, as it kind of ends off the film with the main character, just going to the light after everything. I won't spoil entirely why he goes into the light, as in dies and everything, but it's really cool once you realize it. And then, while the movie flowed well for its story and everything, I feel like there were just certain moments that kind of dragged. It's a 1 hour and 53 or 58 minute movie, which was kind of its negative point, as the film, like, it didn't necessarily need to be this long. I feel like it could have got through some of, if not most of its story beats fairly quickly, but it ended up deciding to just add some stuff for the sake of plot, which isn't always a negative thing, but it's in this case for me personally it was. So with that all said, I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good, you know. Like I said, I enjoyed it for everything it was, but despite that, it was just like, like I said, it kind of dragged. And while I didn't enjoy all the characters as much as I did for The Thing or for other films, I thought that these standout characters that we did have did very well to, carry the film for me. And so, yeah, hope you enjoyed my review. I'm probably not giving this film enough credit, so if you think maybe I'm being too harsh, or maybe I'm not giving it the respect it deserves, then you should check it out for yourself. And with that out of the way, see you later, peeps. We are doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. We are so here. We are so here for this. We are so here for this. Peace.